Hello everyone, my name is Hasty Storm and I am back to announce that I am in the Season 4 of the Universal Pokemon Association. And my earbuds just fell, that's okay, don't worry about it. But we ended up having a draft yesterday, and before I go into my draft, I just want to mention a few things first. Like, I'll tell you how the draft worked, and I'm not gonna go over the rules. The rules are, I think, the same as last season. We don't have an item clause anymore, so yeah, you'll get the idea. So, how this draft worked was that this was the draft order, and Nick is first of the Why Nots, and then Lucas is last. So, how that works is Nick goes first and then Lucas goes last round one. But then what happened is that it goes the other way for round two, or when it's an even numbered round. So Lucas is last round one, but then he is first round two. And then once Nick is last in round two, he's first in round three. So I was like right in the middle. So I I got good Pokemon, I have to admit. But my team I don't think is the greatest. It's still good, but I think it could be better. So, before I go into details, we allowed franchising this season, and I franchised Victini. I will explain why in a moment. But it's not here. Here are the franchises. So, like Corman, he franchised Chatot. Matthew franchised Crawdaunt. He's new. Revere, he's new too. He franchised Jirachi. Here are the teams if you want to see them. And yeah. So let's go into my team. So we got Victini first round, and the reason for that is because Victini has just it's so good. I just love using Victini. And we all know why I love Victini. It's just it got all those kills for me. Season 3. There's many ways of running it. It's very versatile. It's very, very underrated in my opinion. Not many people use it. It doesn't get a lot of credit. And it has very high powered stab moves. Like it has V create, it has blue flare on the special side, even though it only has 100 attack. But 100 attack and 100 special attack is enough to do the job. And you can have a life orb, and you'll be able to dish out tons of damage. And it also has the coverage to do so, which is why I picked Victini. And it can, like I said, runs many sets. You can sweep with it, you can just be an attacker. You can be defensive if you want, but I don't run defensive that often. I ran it during the semifinals of Season 3, if you saw that video. But besides that, I usually run it offensive. So that's it for Victini. Now, next up for round 1, I I kind of screwed up on the pick. So what I picked was Chestnut. And Chestnut I ended up picking way too early because Chestnut was a B rank and everyone was like drafting A ranks round 1, and they questioned my motives of getting Chestnut, and I see why, but I wanted it because of the fact that it just has this very good defensive synergy of Victini. It takes I think Bulletproof has I think Bulletproof makes you immune to Shadow Ball. Don't quote me on that. It makes you resistant to knockoff. It resists water moves. Victini can resist fairy moves, ice moves, and Victini can also take care of poison types which threaten Chestnut, even though it's hit neutrally by them. And Chestnut's also resistant to ground, which was a huge, huge problem last time I had last season, not last time, just the last season I had a huge problem with ground Pokemon, and I don't want to make that mistake again. So that's Chestnut, and Chestnut has It's there for defensive reasons. It can be offensive. It has 107 attack, which is not bad, but it has spikes, it has leech seed, it has super fang, taunt, it has toys to use. So can't wait to see what Chestnut's gonna do for the season. I don't ha I will tell you nicknames if I made them, but odds are I'm going to need help nicknaming some of these Pokemon. So we all know that Victini is named Movie Star. So, and Chestnut's a tough Pokemon to nickname, so we'll just leave Chestnut at that. If you could think of a nickname for me, I might take the advice of nicknaming, but for now, it's just Chestnut. Now, next up, I thought I was making this Fire Water Grass core, and I needed a water type, and I thought that now would be a good time to get my Mega Evolution, my Mega slot. So, because of that, I got myself Mega Blastoise. So, Mega Blastoise can do many things. Well, it can't do that much, but it has power with Mega Launcher, giving that extra boost to moves like Water Pulse. Oops. You could also give it Scald for burning. It has Dark Pulse, Aura Spear, Ice Beam. It has a nice selection of moves with 135 special attack, putting you up to 405, which is really nice. I like that. And its hit points aren't terrible. 79 is not awful. And it has nice defenses. Now, the nickname is M1. And you may question why M1? That's the name of a bazooka. And if you think about it, it's cannon. That thing is like the size of a bazooka. So, yeah, you get it. And also, it gets rapid spin, so it can get rid of hazards which Victini really doesn't like, especially Stealth Rocks, without having to defog away, because Chestnut has spikes, which helps wear down Pokemon on the ground much better, but it's harder to get up, and once it's gone, you're going to have a harder time compensating for that. So, because of that, I got a Rapid Spinner. Though I do have some choices of defog, like right now. So for round 3, um, whoever it was, Corman drafted Talonflame, and I felt like, yeah, this team's very weak to Talonflame. It's very weak to flying moves. So to make up for that, I wanted an electric type. So because of that, I was thinking between Raikou or Zapdos, and I chose Zapdos because it has better bulk. I could run it defensive, I can run it offensive. It has a better special attacking stat than Raikou. It's slower, but I feel like Zapdos is more versatile than Raikou, and their move pools are kind of the same in how flexible it is, but it's not that great. But it has Heat Wave, it has Thunderbolt, Volt Switch. It also has Roar to phase out. So Zapdos is cool. But Zapdos can also defog if I'm not running a team which is very heavy on hazards. So defog will come in very handy. And Zapdos' nickname is Nacho Bird because, yeah, it does look like a bird with nacho cheese on it. So, yep, that's Zapdos. And yeah, I know 100 speed compared to, let's just say, Raikou's 115 speed will make a difference many, many times throughout the league. But I still felt like I would want Nacho Bird instead of Raikou because of its versatility. Okay, so after that, I don't know what I was thinking after that. What did I draft next round? Did I draft my fairy? I think I drafted my fairy. I gotta check. You know what? Nah, we'll just stop going in order. So what I'm assuming is that the next one I got was Smelly. Smelly is making a return again, which is weird, but I needed a cleric. I didn't have a cleric yet, and I needed a fairy type, and I knew that Floor Jays was gone, but I was planning on getting Aromatisse in the first place. It has better bulk. Its special attack's not that much compared to Floor Jays or Sylveon, but it can do the same thing just for less points. It does a similar job. And yeah, I'm mainly going to use it as a cleric. It has the bulk to take hits, but there's really not too much to mention about it. It's just there for clerical use and to resist fighting hits and dark hits. So that's it. And I didn't have a dragon immunity, so that helps with it. And then the next one to help with the core of Aromatisse is this is an interesting Pokemon, but I've used it before. Registeel. So I got Registeel, and Registeel seems one-dimensional, and it is passive too, but to make up for that, it has Seismic Toss, which does like a third to a majority of Pokemon's health. Like, most of them have like 300-ish, so it's like a 4-hit KO on like 80% of all the Pokemon. And I felt like 150 defenses are very good, and it brings you all the way up to 438. That's really high. I like that. And it doesn't do much. It has Stealth Rock, which I didn't have yet, and it has Thunder Wave to slow down Pokemon. And what it can also do is it can run a Curse set. Where's Curse? I don't know why it's down in the usually useless moves. That's dumb. Showdown needs to fix that. And you can like run this. Run like a Rest Talk set with Curse, Iron Head, and Rest. That's one way. But I might change it up with Registeel. Like, I might run a Curse set in a weird way. Like, one thing I saw, which someone did in the Battle Subway, back in Black and White, was he did substitute Curse, Iron Head, and Amnesia, just so it can be, like, unstoppable. While there is critical hit hacks, I did not see that many crits hitting Registeel. So that could be one thing I could do. Or I could run like Earthquake. That could be cool. I just banged my elbow if you heard that. And it also gets elemental punches. So I could run Ice Punch, I can run Thunder Punch. Does it? Yeah, it does get Thunder Punch. So what I can do is I can run it in all sorts of funny ways. And I will make sure to try to be innovative with this Pokemon because I want to explore with it because of its coverage, and I want to see if I can use it in all sorts of funny ways. Like, if you know how I did Assault Vest Claydol, I could probably do Assault Vest Registeel. It does have better offenses than Claydol though, so that's just one idea. That could be fun to use, but for now, I think we're just gonna stick with the Curse set. But I might run it in all sorts of ways. Who knows? But after that, I needed a Ghost type to spin block those hazards. Wait, was that it yet? No, wasn't it yet. I didn't get this Pokemon yet. What I did was I needed something for in case someone tries to defog. So it's to put pressure on defoggers like the Lottie twins. I got Bisharp. And Bisharp's nickname is going to be confirmed because Bisharp sounds like a bishop. It sounds like bishop, and bishops confirm people, and they say you're confirmed. So, yeah, that's where I got that one from. And Defiant is to help with any defog users, or Intimidate. Intimidate could be a bit of an annoying thing to go against. And it has things like knockoff. It can pursuit trap defoggers. It has Iron Head for fairies, and you could run Sucker Punch because Bisharp's not that fast. And I felt like that would be a very cool Pokemon to have on the team. And I know it's not fast, but 125 attack, it's a lot of physical attack. So what else? After this, I ended up what did I get? I think what I got was I got another Defiant user. I got Braviary just to have another option of Defiant. And Braviary's name is, I'll tell you the nickname after this, but it gets Brave Bird, it gets Return. It's very hard hitting with 123 physical attack and 80 speed, which isn't bad. And it gets superpower, it gets defog too if I wanted to do that, but I don't expect myself doing that. It gets U-turn to switch out. I can also do bulk up. I can whirlwind. Where is it? Whirlwind, Zen headbutt if I don't know. If I don't know when I would ever use that, but you never know. But I feel like Braviary is just powerful, and it also complements hazard stacking well, and it's to prevent defog from happening. And you could run like a choice scarf on it or a choice band, and it can help fix that speed it has compared to Bisharp, where you have Sucker Punch. Braviary doesn't have quick attack. Like, see? Doesn't get it. But it's not the end of the world for Braviary. And the nickname, believe it or not, is, I'll just put it like this. Captain Falcon. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this nickname, but the reason it's Captain Falcon is because Captain Falcon's pretty cool. You know, Falcon Punch. You get that idea if you play Smash. And a lot of people are like, but Braviary's an eagle. To be honest with you, the Pokedex says that Braviary is a valiant Pokemon, and while Bulbapedia stated that it's based off of the bald eagle, it doesn't objectively say that Braviary is the eagle Pokemon. And also Captain Falcon is, it kind of relates to America in a way, so it could work. It's not like, oh, name it America. America's very generic. Captain Falcon stands out more. So, that's Braviary. So, the next mod I got was, it's weird. I ended up getting a D rank, and my D rank of choice was Haunter. Now, I could have gotten Gengar, but I didn't have enough points, I think. So, and I felt like Haunter was much more lighter on hit points, and it does a similar job, it's just a lot more frailer, slower, doesn't hit as hard, but 115 special attack is still really good, and you can attach a Life Orb, and you have Shadow Ball, you have Dazzling Gleam. You don't get Focus Blast though, so you're gonna have to probably get another Pokemon to deal with any tough steel types which are durable. It gets Will-O-Wisp, which is weird, but I can do that to take advantage of Sucker Punch users. It gets Sludge Wave, it gets Sludge Bomb, it gets Dazzling Gleam, it gets Energy Ball. It has the coverage of a Gengar, except it's just not as fast. Now, the nickname I couldn't think of, you could help me with that. But, and it gets Destiny Bond, it's a Pokemon, which I think can work well. Yet again, not as fast, but I still think that it shouldn't really be much of a reason to not draft it. Now, my E rank is weird. Like, you're really going to question this choice of E rank. but I got Aurorus. Yep, Aurorus. Aurorus is that Pokemon which is famous for its god-awful rock and ice typing defensively, because it makes you take quadruple damage from fighting type moves and quadruple damage from steel moves, which isn't doesn't help it. It really just hurts it a lot. And it does have that bulk, but it still hurts it. And it gets I don't know, it gets all these moves, however. It gets Ancient Power, it gets Calm Mind, which is weird, but I don't think I'm gonna really try to do that. It gets Refrigerate Hyper Voice, which hits much harder. It's like a Sylveon, except it's an Ice Sylveon, and it has more hit point bulk. And it typically has more bulk than it on the physical side, but its typing is still pretty miserable. And it gets the beautiful toy of Freeze Dry. And here's the thing. Freeze Dry on Aurorus is like, it's good. It's not like a lot of people are like, hey, how about Mamoswine with Freeze Dry? Now here's the thing with Mamoswine with Freeze Dry. It has 70 base special attack. Like, people run like a Naive Nature and say they run this. You only have 177 special attack to abuse that. Aurorus, on the other hand, gets 326 special attack, assuming you go with a Modest Nature. If not, you still get like 298, which is a whole lot better than little bit of 197. That's not good. 326, that can do the job. And it also gets moves like Thunderbolt. It gets Thunder Wave if I wanted to go the route of slowing down Pokemon. It gets Dark Pulse. I can also run Snow Warning and have Blizzard instead. Flash Cannon, Psychic, Roar if I wanted to phase Pokemon out, but I don't think I'm going to use that. But it has those moves to utilize, and I think that's great as a Pokemon to have these moves. Now, that's Aurorus. I don't think Aurorus will do the most work, but I hope that it does something. I want to make it work. I want to show people how it's good. And I picked it because I felt like I needed an Ice type offensively because they were good. And I actually struggled. I probably struggled against a few Dragon types. I think it was either Ground types or Dragon types that I struggled with. So yeah, that's why I got an Ice type. Now, this is where I made a big mistake. My free points were miscalculated, and after drafting with my free points, I ended up getting Zapdos, Bisharp, Braviary, and the people in the league thought that I only had 100 points left, and with 100 free draft points, I could get whatever it's called. I can only get 2 E ranks, but they were wrong. I had 200 points left, and I could get 2 D ranks instead. But they said at the time, nah, you can only get 2 E ranks. You really wasted your points. So for now, we're stuck with these 2 Pokemon, which I'm going to say. So the first one, I didn't have a ground type yet, and I was just browsing through what kind of ground types there were. And I didn't have a dragon type either, so I ended up getting Gabite. And Gabite's not that, it doesn't really have a lot on it. The stats just look very low. The only thing is the attack, which looks rather average, but it has some niche to it, which I think can work. And it has Outrage, it has Earthquake. It's like a less powerful Garchomp. For some reason, this thing doesn't get Dragon Tail. That I really question. But it gets Roar anyway to phase out. And yeah, don't go through these moves. They're not that special. But I could run like Outrage. I could get like I could have Stealth Rock, I could have Earthquake. Where's Earthquake? And I could have like Iron Head for a fairy, like Sylveon. And it has 82 speed, which isn't too terrible. And it has an acceptable attack stat. And I can run a Jolly Nature, and the items I can mix it up with. I could technically run an Eviolite, but I could also do Choice. Where's Choice Band? Choice Band, and I have to use Rough Skin. I could try to be funny and do Sandstorm and Sandvale, but I don't think I'll ever use that. And I think its defenses can work for a defensive set, but I don't think I'm going to do that in the future. But for now, I'd rather run it offensive, but that's goodbye. Now, the last Pokemon, I lacked a more offensive grass type, and yeah, this is going to be a rather laughable pick, but I got Simisage. Yeah, Simisage. Out of all the grass types in the world, I picked a Simisage. And the thing was that I didn't have a special attacking grass type. All I had was Chestnut, and Chestnut has like 74 special attack, which isn't worth using that much, especially when you have 107 physical attack. So I settled with Simisage, which, to be honest with you, it's not the worst pick I can get. There could be much worse picks grass type wise, and I feel like that Simisage with a Life Orb can do some damage. It gets Leaf Storm, it gets Giga Drain, it gets... Just look at all these moves. It can run physical, it can run special. It can be a bit underwhelming probably, but I think that it can have some potential. It's not total garbo, but there could probably be better Pokemon. But that's it for the team. I will announce whenever I make a free agency or whenever I make a trade. But here's the team right now. Well, here's the roster. And I hope that you will be able to support your favorite team, the Simipours. And I hope that we have a great season this year. It's going to be a lot harder. There's going to be a lot more competition. And I forgot to mention how this works, but playoffs, how it works is that there's going to be 6 people in playoffs out of 14 because we ended up expanding the size of the league from 10 to 14. And after like 13 weeks, there's going to be whoever goes into the playoffs. There will be 4 people in the playoffs, and then 2 others are going to have a I forgot what they call it. A free week, or they have a free something. I forgot what they call it. They get a free, I don't know. I'm not going to struggle with it. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all when week 1 begins, and our opponent is going to be Nick of the Why Not Why Nots. Yes, Why Not is a serious town, but I will see you then next time for the league.